Good morning. It's your girl, Nichelle Randall, the beauty influencer, also known as Just Joy, and it's 8:30 on a Tuesday, so that means it is time for Tea and Wild Thoughts. I'm here. The girls are here. You should be here. Even if you're joining later, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yeah, time for Tea and Wild Thoughts, 30 minutes of dialogue with me, and we'll be talking about the tea this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Just getting the vibe right. Gonna do a little incense here. Gonna do a little Palo Santo. And then we will get started on our conversation. How are you this morning, Carlos? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, got the vibe going. I'm really not feeling all that hot this morning. I like to give y'all the good vibes too. It's raining here. I woke up with a headache, which I hate when that happens. My stomach is doing shows. So I'm drinking ginger tea this morning in my mug that was gifted to me from my lovely friend Abby in Dominica, and love her to death. So yeah, lemon and ginger tea. Got my diffuser going. You know how it goes. Okay, good. I'm glad you're doing good this morning. Just gonna plug a few things really quickly. Shouts out to CJB Beauty Secrets, Miss Cicely Brandon. Took my classes in New York, and I am certified in Gua Sha Fusion. And so on my Joy Taught Me page, I just did my first Gua Sha tutorial. Gua Sha is for everybody. It literally deals with absolutely any type of skin issues that we have, whether that's hyperpigmentation, whether that is fine lines and wrinkles, puffiness. It's actually a health treatment as well. So anybody can benefit from it, male, female, doesn't matter. And this is one of the tools that we use. So make sure to check that out. I'll definitely be sharing more. I'm super excited for the new year and everything that I'll be doing. I'm working on my new creative space, which will be in Charlotte. So I'll be there twice a month doing treatments, doing more videos. I got some red lip tips coming. Like, it's a lot going on. I'm excited. So anywho, we have a lot to discuss this morning. There's been a lot going on online as per usual. And unfortunately, this is not one of the more positive conversations that I've had, because the subject matter is a little that's not particularly my fault, but it is what it is. So yeah, kind of the theme of this conversation is getting old. I'm getting old, man. You know, a lot of the things that I'm tuned into, I can see how it's just a matter of getting older. So we're gonna talk about T.I., of course. You know, him and his daughter. That fiasco that happened this last week with him coming out talking about how he checks his daughter's hymen, or talks with her gynecologist to make sure that it's still intact, that she's still a virgin. We're talking about the sad story of Alexis Crawford, the student who was killed, Clark Atlanta. That's really 3 lives that are taken, because the 2 people that murdered her were unfortunately friends of hers. And then we are talking about Drake, aka Champagne Papi, getting booed at Tyler the Creator's music festival. So we'll get started. T.I. There's so many layers to this thing with T.I. Of course, being a daddy's girl myself, I can see 2 sides of the coin. But I'm a much older daddy's girl than Miss Deja, his daughter. I think she is, I'm not sure how old she is. I think she might be 17, 18. I'm not even sure. But yeah, and him going to the gynecologist with her, which at first I'm like, we're on a roll. You know, the more I'm reading, I'm like, okay, we're on a roll. You know, you go to that's big. You know, most dads don't even want to be that close, you know, to even go to the doctor with their daughter. They kind of like pass that over to a thing. I know my dad did. That wasn't something he was going to do with me. Like, I don't think he wants to talk about my vagina at all. But that's very invasive. And the update is that she has unfollowed him on social media. And that she has liked different posts, you know, that she's had, or she has liked different posts that people have posted about him being, good morning, about him being possessive, controlling, and disgusting, you know. So Tia, that's not cool, you know. Like, it's very invasive. It's very invasive. It's one thing for you to want that information. It's another thing for you to be broadcasting it to the world. And, you know, again, when I look at T.I., and again, being a 38-year-old daddy's girl, you know, T.I. is a product of the system of patriarchy. You know, as not excusing his behavior in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but I can definitely see as well through my own experience with my father that as these men raise these girls, and I remember asking a guy that I was interested in at one time because he had a very, very close relationship with his daughter, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. But she was always coming at me with the bullshit. You know what I mean? So I was like, I needed to know, are men the same way to their daughters that they are to the women they date, the women they marry? And his answer very clearly was no. So I think a lot of men who are in this kind of chauvinistic lifestyle, they benefit from it. They deal with women all the time. They get women. You know, they know the potential, and they know what they have done. They know when they haven't treated women right, you know. So they live in fear of the day that their daughter will deal with some of the emotional things that they have put women through, or at least accept it. So I think that is just very unfortunate. Yeah, the fear men deal with as a result of their inability to look at and deal with their self and their own mistakes, their own history, their own past. I mean, it's like looking in the mirror. And so on the one level, you know, I'm proud of his daughter for, you know, just kind of be like, you know what, that's not cool, you know, like you. And I'm sure it seems like she didn't know. I mean, from of course we don't know. I haven't heard her speak up about it herself, but it seems like she didn't know until he said that publicly. So that's even more of like a violation. And just, so I hope you know, I haven't heard of T.I. I mean, T.I.'s a very intelligent guy, but I haven't heard about him going to any levels of therapy or anything like that, like our boy Jay-Z. So maybe this will prompt them to deal with some, good morning. I got my I Love Dominica mug. I was giving you a shout out, Miss Abby. But yeah, so maybe this will prompt them to go get some type of family therapy and talk about the issues and maybe some of the fears that T.I. has. So yeah, and T.I.'s also, I was looking up how old is he. You know, he's 39, so I would think that he's from a generation too of men that feel like, good morning, that feel like, you know, just raise daughters in a completely different way than the women they date and deal with. Think that type of shit is okay. And sometimes I think men really don't even learn these lessons and really understand, you know, the emotional weight they put on women and things they put women through until they have even really dealt with their own daughters, you know, in certain ways. They don't even see women as really people, unfortunately. Good morning. So, talking about T.I., we're talking about 3 different things this morning. We're going to talk about T.I., we're going to talk about Alexis Crawford, and then we're going to get to Drake. Okay, so the next one, of course, is, and of course talking about people's daughters, is the sad story about Alexis Crawford, which I don't feel like I'm hearing enough about. This beautiful, chocolatey young girl was missing for like 2 weeks, I think, and found out that this young lady was murdered, by her roommate and her roommate's boyfriend, because she did not want to have a threesome with them. Good morning. And she reported them for harassment, and these motherfuckers killed her. It's just, it blows my mind. It genuinely blows my mind that this is what we do with rejection these days. We just take somebody out, like, the older I get, and the theme of this whole conversation is getting old. Like, I'm sure that things like this, unfortunately, as the older that I get, I become, yes, it is so sad, I become more and more aware all the time of what people are capable of. You hear bad things on the news, but it's like, this is a girl that was just going to class, going to school. When you look at the pictures of her, you look at her smile, you look at her spirit, like, it's just like, that's what we do with rejection? It's just crazy. Like, you literally end somebody's life because they don't want you. Very sad. Just very sad. And in addition to that, of course, just talking about getting older, and just me looking at younger women these days, and all these young black girls who are disappearing. This whole sex trafficking thing is getting too real in the field, like, it's just crazy to me. I thank God all the time I'm a homebody, that, and I don't have kids, but I can see how friends of mine that do have daughters, how it really bothers them. What is this world that we're creating? We can't just keep ignoring it. So God bless her family. I know that has to be such a painful experience to go through, but yeah, like, is that really what we are doing with rejection these days? It is just crazy. People are crazy as hell, and that's another reason too why we have to take it very seriously. When you feel like you have haters in your life, like, you don't want to be a person who's always talking about haters, but there are people out there who are really bothered by you and your light. You know what I mean? Like, you have to take it seriously. This is evidence of such, and it wasn't like the other girl wasn't cute, going back to T.I. and talking about patriarchy, and like, really? You was all of that for this dude? All of that to please him, or to, we don't know exactly what her reasoning was, but the fact that it was dealt with within their relationship, if you gotta do all that to keep a dude, honey, trust me, he's not the one for you. And if that is what he is capable of, then it wasn't gonna be long until you saw that within him yourself. So it's just very unfortunate. 3 lives taken for what? Rejection? In this world of likes, like, who gives like, we all got to learn how to self-regulate just a little bit more. So talking about rejection, let's get to Drake. Okay, so Drake was booed off the stage at Tyler the Creator's Camp Vlog Now. I guess that's how you say the name. I don't really know. I fuck with Tyler the Creator though. I like him. I know my friend Robert, he works with a lot of young people all the time. We're always talking about like what the young people are about and what they're into these days. And again, like, the theme is getting old. Like, I love getting older myself. But I felt like, wow, like, we booing Drake. We love Felicia. We do. We love Felicia. He's so weird. He just doesn't care. Like, he's open. He's free. He's ridiculously talented. And clearly he knows how to get the folks going. When I look at him, when I look at Travis Scott, when I look at the baby, like, these kids, like, know how to make a fucking movement, and I think that that is so amazing. You know, I think my generation kind of be the flies on the wall. Like, they always want to be so cool, you know, like always trying to be so cool, calm, and collected. And it's like, show a little emotion. Like, it's okay. You know, we always want to look so strong and so put together. And it's like, they don't care. They don't care about being silly. They don't care about having fun, you know, like they just go for it. And I think that's admirable. So, unfortunately, when they brought Drake out, he got booed. And from what I understand, it was because they wanted Frank Ocean. They thought Frank Ocean was coming out. And either way, that doesn't matter. That's pretty freaking rude. Like, I don't know, you know, what has Drake done to anybody outside of just kind of aging out? I had to look up and see, like, okay, so when did Young Money, like, really kind of start coming out and doing their thing? And it was 2005. Drake is actually 33, which is not that old. I mean, I'm definitely older than him, but I remember when they came out and they were a little younger than me, you know, and I was just like, okay, that's what's up. Like, you know, because I came up with Lil Wayne, but Wayne was young as hell, you know. So it's just amazing, you know, the people that I grew up with, like Snoop Dogg's and, you know, Busta Rhymes, and watching these people age is like, wow, you know, like we are genuinely getting to these ages, you know. Like, Snoop look old as fuck. Sorry. I mean, I love Snoop. We love Uncle Snoop. But are we aging well? You know, whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, you know, that's kind of a whole nother conversation. But yeah, like right here written, it says I'm officially old. Like, not really, but you know, I'm no longer a part of this younger crowd, you know. And even when I was at homecoming a few weeks ago, I'm sitting on this panel, you know, with kids. I graduated in 2004, 2005. I think it was 2005. And these kids are like, yeah, I graduated in 2016, you know. And just that acceptance that, yeah, you know, people do get old. And if you've ever been at the top, you know, you are going to experience the bottom at some point. Unfortunately, in this day and age, you know, we're watching Drake experience that on live. You know, that had to be painful. And you know, we assume, you know, we never really, well, we have seen Drake kind of hit rock bottom before. But not as a performer. Maybe in his personal life, but not as in the music. And I'm sure that was just, when we watch Wayne go through it, you know, we watching Nicki go through it. These people are aging out, you know, and so we all have to find out how do we want to evolve. I'm constantly thinking about recreating myself and constantly making an effort to do so. And we have to make a way to connect with these younger people, right? You know, like, it's just amazing. It's pretty freaking amazing to me. So yeah, Drake. Well, he did come out this morning or yesterday, and they actually booked him for the next, 10 years or something for this same music festival. So he was like, well, I don't care. You know, y'all may not like it, but bitch, somebody like it. You know, so clearly he ain't letting it, you know, get him all the way down. So good for Drake. Yeah, so my wild thought for today is, no matter who we are, at some point we will learn that the people we love are capable of hurting us. It's how we deal with that painful lesson that shows us just how grown we really are. Again, getting old don't mean that you're maturing. You know, like, again, in all these situations, with T.I., with Alexis Crawford, with Drake, maturity, you know, definitely seems to be a clear state of difference. I think Drake, you know, handled his very, very well. T.I. seems to still be dealing with things like a child, even though when it comes to his own child, you know, Getting older doesn't necessarily, again, just mean that we're maturing. Doesn't mean that we're necessarily growing. Some people are just getting old. But emotionally, how are we engaging with things, and how do we deal with it? Because life is going to bring its fair share of good, bad, and indifferent. So we all have to go through it. The good times, bad times, and it's definitely, again, shows us just how mature and how grown we really are. I see grown more as maturity than I do as age, because especially the older that I get, and I look at different people I've grown up with, it's no shade, but, well, it's kind of shade, not everybody is just aging well. And so even going back to what I was talking about this morning with my gua sha, like treatments like this help us age well. And just hope that, we're all just deal with the shit, man. Deal with all of it. Like the good, the bad, and the indifferent. You can't just keep trying to recreate the good stuff. At some point, we have to deal with the negativity in life. Like I said, this is probably one of the most quote unquote negative conversations that I've had. I always try to, keep a positive spin on things. None of these things were particularly good things to talk about. But we got to deal with them, right? Like, I don't really like to use my platform to talk about like pain. But this situation with Alexis Crawford definitely kind of hit home, because this seemed to be a young lady who was doing it all right. Did what the folks wanted her to do. She's going to school, and still, people can be so ugly and hateful, in life. And I know for me, I felt like last year was the year that, yes, I'm old as hell, but the last year that my childhood really died, like I finally realized, like, okay, no, we are grown. You can't even carry these relationships that I've had since high school, or relationships I've had since college, just into life, because we've just known each other for a long time. I have to look at the reality of, are we really growing together, or are we not? Are we really dealing with even with issues that we have in these individual relationships, so that's maturity. Is learning to deal with painful things, not ignoring them, not just getting past them, but actually having the language and the maturity to step to it and deal with it. So, and even in the case of T.I., I don't necessarily see him, I haven't heard him say anything publicly. At some point you gotta look at yourself. You gotta deal with that. So, anywho, that is Tea and Wild Thoughts for the day. Don't know what you guys have going on. Like I said, it's raining here. I'm planning on getting some videos done to put on my Joy Taught Me page. Getting back to the red lip tips and the red lip chronicles, and just really kind of excited for the new year and everything that I have going on. So I hope you guys will stay tuned. I hope you guys will partake. Make sure that you're following the Joy Taught Me page. Check out justjoy.store. Check out my products that are there. Got some new things coming for that as well. And yeah, I hope that everybody has an absolutely amazing day. It's the perfect day to get you a cup of tea. So get you some ginger tea or whatever you like, and warm yourself up and just have a beautiful day. So, all right, guys. Oh, thank you. I'm ready to fly, child. Well, I feel like all year I've been sitting here, practicing, jumping out. I ain't quite ready to fly yet, but I think we're there. So I'm excited. Thank you for the support. Thank you for everybody who has supported me this year. And let's just continue the journey, man. I think my energy is a lot more lifted than when I started. All right, y'all. Well, enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll talk to y'all soon.